recognize a few people that are here tonight. I have a few board members. Mike Pringle, our chairman of the board, is here. Mike, thank you. Malin White, our chair-elect, is here somewhere. Back there. Allie Bro, our immediate past chair, is here. Thank you for being here. And David Joyner from our board. I do see David in the back. So thank you for being here. If you have any questions about the chamber or want to know what we're doing, ask our board members. That's what they're here for. We also have a lot of ambassadors here tonight. If you could just all raise your hand. I don't have a list tonight because there are so many. A lot of them have their badges on. Our ambassadors really are the eyes and ears for the chamber. They really help us with our members, recruiting them, helping guiding you as new members through what we have to offer and getting you comfortable at some of these networking events. With that, I do want to say thank you to Ocean Atlantic Rentals. They have been in business for 35 years. And they've also been chamber members for 35 years, so we're really happy about that. They met each other 35 years ago, so very good. Before I introduce Greg, I do also want to thank Coastal Provisions for the great food tonight. Thank them. And with that, I'm going to introduce Greg Honeycutt from Ocean Atlantic Rentals.
All right, thanks, Karen. Appreciate it. I want to also thank the Outer Banks Chamber of Commerce staff and Coastal Provisions and the board members of the chamber. And yeah, 1979. I mean, a lot of good things happened in 1979. You know, like I say, first of all, I met my wife, my lifetime partner, and and we've been married 34 years in September. So
keep that up, you'll be married a whole bunch more.
But anyway, that was we're proud to be chamber members since 1979. It's one of the first things I did when I started the business. And but in the beginning, it was basically Eden and I, you know, in the early days, and as we kind of set in motion for growth and working side by side. And her, you know, she ended up opening a duck store, and we went to Doug. She opened Corolla, and we went to Corolla, and we sort of set the company in motion for growth. But I want to basically just do a little reflection and then do a few thank yous. When we started in 1979, that's the only year I can remember being in business on the Outer Banks where basically visitors had a hard time getting here, because in June there were gas lines everywhere. So it was really the end of June. Some of you remember that. It was the end of June, 1st of July, before things actually picked up, sort of like a normal summer. In 1981, we had a choice of trying to, well, we had no choice. We had to do something. Where we were located over on the beach road, that was sort of the first wave of development, so condominiums were getting ready to be built. So we had befriended Mrs. Jeffs, an elderly lady who owned property directly across the street from us. At the time, and some of the bankers, the older bankers remember this, interest rates were 18% in 1981. So if you're trying to buy a piece of commercial property, a young business person trying to start out, it was like nearly impossible. Luckily, she financed the property for us for 5 years, 12% interest, and we paid her at the end of each season, or we'd never been able to do it. We lived on that premise for about 9 years too. Both worked and lived in the same location. And basically, in 1984, just as Duck was beginning to take off, we sat down with Walter and Caroline Story. That's when the first shopping center in Duck was being built, Scarborough Fair. And we ended up going into the second phase of Scarborough Fair and opened that Duck store in 1984. We did the same thing, sitting down with Pat and Dick Brindley in 1987. Mr. Dick Brindley developed Corolla Light. Corolla Light was the first shopping center in Corolla. There was nothing but weeks up there. So we opened that location in 1987. Then 1990, Keith Brightbill, we were partners with some properties on T-shirt World. So we bought property down in Avon, and as soon as we bought that property, the barge at Bonner Bridge, about 5 days after we closed on the property. So we're holding property, wondering what in the world we're going to do. Well, luckily, in February, they got the bridge back open. Woodard Construction, man, they moved so quickly. We actually had that store open in the middle of May of that spring. And 1995, we had outgrown Scarborough Fair, so myself and Ben Hopkins, who owned Soundfeed Shoes, we bought commercial property in Duck and moved out there for road frontage. And then in 2000, we were in desperate need of warehouse space, so we bought warehouse space over in Point Harbor because we just needed a place to store all this mess, and so that worked out really good. And then roughly 2007 is when we purchased this building, transitioned from the Beach Road. Basically, we've gotten into the wedding and the event business, and so we needed a showroom. We just needed more of a presence than what we had when we were just doing rentals. And then we opened Island Revolution, a surf company up in Corolla, which is also part of the company. Built a skate park in Corolla Light Town Center. Did that roughly around the same time, 2006, 2007. Now, just a few quick thank yous. Obviously, Eden and I couldn't have done this if we had not surrounded ourselves with some great people. And we do have some great people that have worked for us a long, long time. Blake Bugard, which Eden always says is who she discovered, and that's true, she did discover Blake. As Vice President of Operations, he came with us in 1988.
Where are you, Blake?
And he's been with us.
Come on, come up here.
He's been with us since 1988, and he's also a stockholder in the company. And then Chris Merrick. Chris came on board in 1991. Yeah, Chris started working summers for us, and he went to Kent.
Be quiet. He was my discovery.
He went to Kent State. Chris did, and worked summers all the way through college and all. And he's also a stockholder in the company. Pat Lewis, who manages the Corolla operations, started working for us when he was 17 years old in 1990. He's done a great job up there. Chad Miller, at age 20. Been with us since 1994, ran Hatters for a while, and also runs the wedding and the event division. And then Kristen Meyer has managed Hatters for us, did Fulton and Duck, Dave Frapp and Kill Level Hills. Teresa Powell's been our bookkeeper and office administrator. Paul Dexter in events, and Jeff Carver, Island Revolution. And then Samantha Blackwell, Amanda Campbell, Jennifer Ahern, and Colby Furta. They've done a great job for us as well. So that's the way that's the secret. In other words, we've surrounded ourselves with good people. And last but not least, I want to basically very proud of the fact that over the years that we've tried to support the nonprofits up and down the Outer Banks. We worked hard to bring the Outer Banks Family YMCA here, and that was a big project that we worked on. And Outer Banks Community Foundation we've been associated with for a long, long time, and a lot of other nonprofits between Ocracoke and Corolla. All right, thanks for coming. Enjoy yourselves.
But it was easy to take care of.
I want to catch up on anyway.
We stay part of the time at Ocracoke, part of the time up there.
When I get to my name this time, they said event. I'll be there. You look so good.
You too.